Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to the Creabea Knitting podcast. Hello and welcome, my name is Rebecca, I'm a knitter and knitwear designer based in Edinburgh in Scotland, and this is a vlog or a podcast all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on and what I'd like to cast on in the not too distant future. And I'm back on track, baby. It's been a while, but it's only been 2 weeks and I'm here and I've got lots to talk about and I'm very excited. So yeah, what do I have? I have 4 finished objects. I've really been trying to clear my needles over the past few weeks and it is going well. So I only have 2 sweaters on my needles right now. Usually I have more. So I've got 4 finished objects, 2 sweaters on the needles, 2 advent projects. Is that right? I think so. And yeah, just some like advent knitting to talk about, which is exciting. I feel like I'm missing something really obvious, but maybe I'm not. I'm not sure. I'll work it out halfway through if I am. So yeah, buckle up. I have not charged my spare battery, so we have to get through this in the time it takes one battery to die. But I think that'll be okay. It is a really cold day here in Scotland. As far as Scotland goes, all the Canadians, yes, you have like -10, we have like -3 today, which is cold by our standards. So I'm looking out over like frosty rooftops right now, which is really nice, and hopefully we'll keep the sun around long enough for me to get through. It's looking very low in the sky already, but let's hope. Let's start with what I'm wearing. It is my first finished object. I had this, I held this up last time and I forgot how much I love this sweater until I held it up in the camera. So this is my Rhue sweater. I'm kind of torn as to how to spell it. My original plan was to spell it R-U-E, which is based on a marina on the west coast in like Helensburgh area. But then I found out that there was also an R-U-H-E, which is a lighthouse, and they're both from a Gaelic word, which I think is Ruva. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm going to spell it with the H or not. I'm undecided, but it's called Rhue. I think I'm keeping the H in. I think I'm keeping it. So I'm just wearing a pair of like fluffy joggers, so apologies if you can see those. But this is the sweater. So it is a colourwork sweater of very obviously in 2 colours, and I think the fun part is that both the body and sleeve are finished in the contrast colour. And the other thing that's cool is it is a contiguous construction, so if you can kind of see, the shoulders have saddles. Sorry, my chair is creaking. And it's kind of like a saddle, and then it comes down in shapes under here, and then it ends in a raglan. So it's a kind of interesting shape. It's my first time knitting the shape, and I think it's a real nice fit across the shoulders. It kind of is a combo between a saddle shoulder and a raglan, but I find it's not got as much, like quite often a raglan's got a big fold here and this has less of that. But it's a really nice fit. And what I really like is that because you join in the round quite early, you can start the colour work quite high, but it's all in the round colour work, so no, I don't know, no working flat or no steeking or any of those things, which is really nice. So I knit this in Fibre Company Lower. It was the first time I'd used that yarn and I love it. I am a big fan. 250 meters per 100 grams, and it's pretty well priced. I think it's maybe like £14. Is that about right? Maybe even, I don't know, less than 20, more than 10 per 100 grams. If you've not used this before, I would definitely recommend it. I purchased it myself, it's not gifted yarn, so like that is 100% my own opinion. And yeah, I really like it. I am going to make a second sample in the same yarn, which I never usually do. I usually make a second sample in a different yarn. However, I just love it. I think the yarn is perfect for the design. And it's not expensive, so usually if I've used like a pricier yarn, unless it's a collaboration, I will try to make a second run in like a cheaper option so you can see like the flexibility of the garment. But I think with it being pretty well priced, I'm not too worried about like showing off a cheaper version, if that makes any sense. So yeah, this is my last, no, it's not true. I'm finished 4 green sweaters in November and this is one of them. And I think my second version is going to be grey and white, with the top being white and the bottom being grey. So yeah, as I'm filming this, the test call is open. However, the test call will have closed by the time the video goes live, so I'm sorry. I like to line them up with videos, but I don't want to leave this one too late, so the test will have started by the time this video goes live. But I did get some emails from people after the last episode telling me how much they love it, so I will try to have made sure to get back to you about the test call. If you emailed me, or I think I got some I got a lot of messages. I got Ravelry messages, I got emails, I got Instagram messages saying like, I've really got to test this for you, which is really nice because then you feel good about the design. Like, it's a nice bit of validation that you've gone in the right direction. So yeah, that is the Rhue sweater. I really love it. It's really cozy and really like the yarn as well. Okay, next up, okay, we'll switch things up. I'm not going to go straight into the sweater. I'm going to go into a little gift knit, which is mostly dry. I just took off the radiator where it was blocking and I think it's dry. I made a little cable hat. So we have got Secret Santa coming up this weekend, and I cannot give a gift without it being, like, I just can't do it. Of course I have to give a knitted gift, like, it's my entire personality. So it is just a little, I think my ribbing is a tiny bit too loose, but I'm not worried about it. My purling is just too loose recently and I need to sort that out, but it's not really an issue. And it's for a guy, so it's in like quite a, what I thought was quite a masculine colour. It's or like, it's quite a neutral colour, you know. It is Novita 7, I think, which is actually a sock yarn, but I made a pair of Sunday socks last year and this was left over, so it was a scrap yarn project. And the pattern is not a pattern, it is technically the cables from my Dorney sweater, which I thought was really fun, and it took me a couple of attempts to get the crown decreases done properly, but ultimately I just decreased the cables inside the cables. Like, I made the cables smaller and then I did like 3 rounds of knit 2 together and that was it. So it was a real easy knit and I think it's worked out really nicely. I'm really excited to gift this. It took me like 2 days as well. I think the ribbing, it took me as long to do the ribbing as it did to do the whole of the rest of the hat. The Dorney cables are only every 6 rows, so I only had to do 4 cable rows of this whole hat, and it's an all over cabled hat, which feels kind of good. So yeah, maybe I'll make another one of these. I have another, I'm maybe considering doing a few more gift knits hats. And I really like to do the Pearl Soho 1x1, like classic ribbed beanie, but like I say, my ribbing is not in a good place right now, so maybe the cabled hat is the way to go. Alternatively, I might make myself one in white and just go down a good couple of needle sizes. I can't remember what needle size I used. I think maybe a 4. I think I went down from the pattern size because if I got gauge in the pattern, it was going to be slightly too big. So I was like, I'll go down a half needle size. So I think the pattern is a 4.5 and I used a 4. I think it's still attached to the cord on my desk. So I will check and see if it's still attached. And if it is, I will just use that one again. And hope for the best. I do need a new hat. I don't really have, I have a couple hats, but like, I don't know, I don't have my like go-to hat for me. And like I say, knitting is my entire personality. I should have a hat that I'm obsessed with. And I don't. Okay, my third finished object, I've worn this so much, so like it's feeling very like worn already, is my Stickless Stick Season. So a Stick Season sweater is one of my own designs. It came out in November. Oh, I should actually check, I'll check that after. And yeah, it came out in November and it has like a textured yoke and a plain body, and I jokingly called the texture on the yoke the sticks, and this is like the stickless one, so it's one without the texture on the body. I just loved how this sweater fit so much that I wanted it just really plain, and I am delighted. I've worn this so many times. I feel like I'm now like feeling like bringing this sweater out as a plain sweater doesn't feel like much value add. But the fact that there's options for both, like you could just not do this texture, I really like. This is the shoulder detail, which is, it's not really opened up that well. I should steam it, but I was so excited to wear it that I didn't. You can kind of see it's like an open, it's a rib detail. It's just not opening up. And it goes all the way down. And again, I've not steam blocked the ends under the arms at all, which is what I plan to do, but I just keep putting it on and forgetting about it. So yeah, and then it's got a 2x2. Actually, that detail also runs into the collar, if I've done it right. Yeah, it does. And it's got like a nice deep 2x2 rib collar, plain tapered sleeves. This colour does not capture on any camera. It doesn't capture on my phone. It doesn't capture on here. It is coming up kind of almost like a white, you know, like a pale colour. It is so rich. And I wanted it to be pickle green because I kept seeing pickle green sweaters everywhere, but actually what it's turned out is peridot green, which is my birthstone. And my mum, I wore it to see my mum at the weekend, and she was like, oh, I've got your grandmother's ring, and it's a peridot, and I put it on with my sweater, and I was like, this is the perfect, like this is perfect, and it completely is. So yeah, I've been wearing it non-stop, and I will definitely make more of these. I have some like camel coloured yarn, and I also have some blue, like cobalt blue yarn, and I think one of them is going to be the next one, because I feel like a fun fashion girly, but I also feel like quite polished, and like it's really comfy and easy to wear, but I feel like a fun, like I feel like I don't know, I feel kind of fashionable and modern. The yarn is Drops Alpaca in the colourway Olive Mix, which is a really nice variegated yarn, and I don't know if I'll pick it up, but yeah, maybe there's like some yellow variegation on there. And I held that together with a strand of Knitting for Olive Mohair, not merino, in clover green, I want to say. And that was definitely more of like an apple colour, which I think is why it came out like less pickle, more peridot. Less pickle, more peridot. Pickle. Yeah, so I love this so much. Should I put it on? I should put it on. No, it's not. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! So I really love this colour, green. I think it really suits me. And I'm just going to wear it with some like nice gold jewellery to the office. Ta-da! I keep saying ta-da, I don't know why. What I love about this is that because of this detail on the shoulder, and the pattern does tell you to steam it before you, like if you're doing any measuring, to steam this open first. I didn't do that. But it meant I knit the sleeves, and I tried it on before blocking, and the sleeves were like here, and I thought, oh no, I've made the sleeves too short, I have to rip out the ribbing, and I blocked it, and because all of this opened up, I got like an extra like 4 or 5 centimetres on my sleeve, which that very lucky. I was very grateful for that. Okay, my fourth and final finished object is an oldie. It was my advent project of 2022, and I finished it on the last day of November 2023. So it took me like the best part of a year to finish. I'm gonna get into advent projects. Oh, before I get there, that's what I was gonna say. The end of November came and passed, which meant that the 6th season hat fundraiser has been and gone. I think it was about 400. I think there was like 430 copies of the pattern sold, and they were £3 each. And I think it raised about £1,200, which is what, about $1,700. That's maybe a terrible. Maybe it's not as much as that. Maybe $1,400. And that's all going to go to the Vermont Flood Relief Foundation. It will go in January, just because of the way I've set up as a business in the UK now, which is quite exciting. But I'll do it in January along with my Daft Days contribution, because that makes my life easier from tax purposes, and it means I get to put more of the money towards it, or like I get to put the maximum money towards it. And then when it comes to Daft Days, I last checked like maybe the start of the week, and I think there were about £7,000 worth of pattern sales, and then there's a £5,000 that I'll be matching, so it'll be about £12,000 being donated to the Fistula Foundation. So yeah, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I released a pattern this end of November called the Daft Days Cardigan and also the Daft Days Shawl. I'll actually keep them both in the link down below, because all the money raised all through December, I'll have a picture as well, goes to that organisation, the Fistula Foundation. And I was matching up to £5,000 worth of sales, and we hit that within like the first week, which was really exciting. So until the end of the year, that'll all go there, and then I'll make both the donations for the Vermont Flood Relief, there we go, and the Fistula Foundation. Too many F's. Flood Relief Fistula Foundation. All of those will go in the start of January. And I'll give like when I make that donation, I'll put like an actual, like the confirmed final number down to the penny. I'm just saying that because I have a still unfinished 6th season hat just sitting here next to me that I should just keep not finishing. Don't know why not. It would be like 20 minutes of work to finish, but why do that when I can cast on new things? So advent wise, I had my first advent last year, knitted advent last year, and for the Christmas I decided not to do a hand-dyed advent, but instead I did a recycled advent. So there's a shop in the UK called Alterknit Universe, and what they do is they wind up mini skeins based on, they basically use recycled cones and they wind up mini skeins and then they ship them out to you, and it's usually based on a colour scheme, and they base them largely on their D&D campaign and like some characters from the D&D campaign. I don't follow the D&D campaign, I just know that's in the information. And so every day you get like a little 10-gram mini made up of strands, usually like lace weight strands of recycled yarn, and it's pretty well priced. I will say it's only 10 grams and it went up last year, it was £40, this year it's £50, so it has gone up in price. It's edging pretty close for like, given it's half the yarn that comes in a hand-dyed advent, it is not far off the cost of a hand-dyed advent, because I think they're usually like 120. So I was really up for it last year because it's a cheaper way to still have something to open every day. This year, I am aware that it's pretty pricey. Anyway, my issue with last year's one is that, so I decided to make a blanket. I'm going to show you the blanket. I'm going to start showing the blanket anyway. This is the blanket. What I've done is just hold together the recycled yarn, if it focuses, with one single strand of woolly knit, British wool. And then I've held two, like British wool held double, and then British wool and recycling, and then British wool held double. And that's all the way here up to there. So I don't think I can fit this all in. Maybe I can. If I don't stretch it too much, maybe I can fit most of it in. That's the advent. And I was working on this like throughout last year, December, if you were watching the videos. But what bothered me is that, of course I didn't realise this because I wouldn't know, but I decided to use this white, this natural white as my contrast colour, and then I got like 4 days of white in the pattern and it really bugged me. So I used 2 of the 4. You can kind of see there's like a white here, and then there's this like tweedy white, but there were 4 whites and I took some of them out. And then I lost steam on it because I think I knit up to maybe here, and everything at the end was the same. Like if you look, they are like nuanced different, but they were all the same colour. Like it was all like black and like blacks and browns, and I was like, well, like this is all this like pretty fade, and then there's already black here and then it ends here, and I was over it. But I decided I had to finish it before this year started, and honestly I love this blanket. I carry it everywhere with me now. I was worried it was gonna be too small, but actually it's kind of a perfect size. It goes over my knees like really perfectly if I'm on this chair, which is where I am like, most of my existence. It also will like wrap around my shoulders like really snugly. See, like this is where you'll find me like every single day. So yeah, it turned out a really good size. So I'm really glad I finished it. I'm annoyed at myself for just powering through and finishing it before, because I really love it. The colours are not what I would pick, but I still think it goes together and I still think it looks cool. So yeah, I finished it. It was a lot of knitting. And what I hoped was that I was hoping that this end would be like the narrow end and it would be longer, but actually this is the narrow end. So it's slightly like this is the direction of my stripes when I wear it. But that's okay. Okay. I'm tucked in. This is me for the rest of the day. That's not true, I have to go buy yarn today. So, that's my blanket. Let me just fold it back up. And I basically have just been, having this on the bed, having this on my chair. And it's pretty good size. I put it in, I soaked it, I blocked it in the bath. And then I put it in the washing machine to spin. So by the time I took it out, it was mostly dry, and I just laid it on the floor on top of a big, like 2 towels. And it was dry the next day. It dried really quickly, which was nice. So I'm just glad it's done. It's my first ever blanket, which I feel like for a knitter is a pretty big achievement. It's just garter stitch, like it's nothing exciting, but it's so cozy. And of course the British wool, for me it's next to Skin Soft, easy peasy. So I feel very cozy with this. It's very like comforting. I found myself last night go to sleep and like I wanted this part next to my face, so I was like pulling a corner like up against my cheek as I was sleeping. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but last week I was like and now this I'm like, yeah, I love it. I love it so much that I cast on another one. So let me hop into my advent project for this year. I have got a couple of advents. So I got the recycled advent again, which honestly, given that I wasn't that much of a fan of it last year, I'm surprised I did it again, but I did. And then also I ordered it I remember panicking on the way to knit night and thinking, oh, I need to remember to order that advent. I'd forgotten it even existed. And then I pulled this one out. I thought, oh, I need to order it. And then a few weeks later, that might have even been like way back in like whenever they first launched them. I think it was a while ago. Okay, here we go. I pulled the blanket out. My plan last year was this blanket is not as big as I want it to be. So what I will do is wait until I actually asked the shop and they told me they'd be selling individual minis. I don't think they ever did that, or at least if they did, it wasn't online. And so I thought, okay, I'll wait till next year's advent and then I'll knit next year's and then I'll just finish the blanket and it'll be 2 advents together. So I ordered it and then I thought I'd done it and then I went to double check and then I realised I didn't have any order confirmation. So I thought, oh, I must have not ordered it because I was in a rush, I was going to knit night, so I reordered. And then I got a shipping notice for both of them. So I think it must have sent from a different email to what I looked up on my email. Because like I looked up something and I got other like last year's order confirmations, but not this year's. So it must have been a different email address. But I got 2. So then I thought, well, I could use one to finish that blanket or I could just wrap this one up here and start a new one. And that's what I've done and I'm very glad I did that. I've got 2, which does mean it was a relatively expensive advent for what it is. Like it's all recycled yarn. But it means I've got 2 10-gram little nuggets of each colour. And what was I going to say? Oh, so I've started a new blanket, which I'm going to show you in a second. What I did do is I opened the entire thing. I opened it like the last week of November, and I laid them all out on the floor, and I'm really glad I did because last year I got upset, or not upset, but like I got frustrated and I lost momentum because firstly I didn't know what was coming, and secondly like there were all those groups of colours together that wouldn't work with my contrast colour. So I wanted to make sure I was happy with the colours, I was happy with the order they went in, and my contrast colour made sense. And so I ended up taking out a couple. I think I took out maybe 4 colours in total. I think I took out day 1, day 3, day 16 and day maybe 13. Okay, I was rudely interrupted. No, not really. So what was I saying? I opened the whole thing. I think I took out day 1, which I'm just going to talk about. So if you want a spoiler, like I'm spoiling this one now. I took out day 1 because it was a colour change, and you'll see that with what I was doing, I didn't want a colour change at the start. It's a beautiful yarn. It changed from like yellow to purple, but it doesn't work for my creative vision. So I took it out. I took out day 3 because it was like fluorescent green, like just a completely different tone from everything else. I took out day 6 because it was a white, which is really close to my colour of contrast colour. And I took out, I think, day 13, which is a shiny yarn. It was like a a sparkle yarn, like heavily sparkle, not like a little bit stellina, but like super sparkly. So I took those out. I've added in 2 more. I think I added in 2 more of scraps, like my own scraps, which I just put them in the bag. Like I put in, I got like a big plastic bag full of scraps, and basically I had them all laid out on the floor. I pulled out my scrap bag and then I went through pulling out colours and where they could fit. I need to hold them with something else, but my plan is to deal with that when I get to that day. I'm definitely going to be behind. I'm currently not really behind. I'm working on the 4th day, but I took out colour 3 and 6, so today is the 6th when I'm filming. I'm actually on track. However, I'm not going to be able to stay on top of this. It's a lot of knitting to get done in the time, and so it's like 250. Actually, I can tell you, it's 250 stitches in a row, and per colour, because I'm also doing the contrast colour, I'm basically doing 28 rows. That can't be right. Yeah, I think it is. I think I'm doing 6. I don't know if I'm doing 6 or 7 rows. That's the thing. If it's, let's say, 6, that's 6,000 stitches per stripe. No way, that can't be right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So if I do 6 stripes per day, I've got 4 stripes in each colour because I've got the 2 mini balls and I've got my 2 contrast colour stripes. So that is 4 stripes. Of 6, yeah, 24. So that's 24 stripes per day, technically. And that's 250 stitches. 6,000 stitches. Yeah, okay, now I feel less bad if I don't keep up with this every day. Oh my gosh, that's so many stitches. I'm using needle stoppers, which I don't normally use, but I only use it for blankets. Well, I started it on this one because it's the only other blanket I've knit, and I kept it for this one. Just because, yeah, I'm not using a very big cord because I don't need to. But I think they would slide off the end. So I pulled forward a colour from the middle of the advent as well. So there was a colour that was like in with the middle colours, and I pulled it right to the front because it had like a strand of blue, and I wanted the blue to go with one of my blues that like the very first colour I had. And I didn't think it went very well where it was. I should say, I love the colours of this advent. I like it like I can say that, I've seen them all. I like it more than last year's by far. It's much more varied. I opened them all, and Sam walked in when I was opening them. He's like, oh, is this your Hobbit advent? Like, and I feel like the colours were quite like woodsy, hobbity colours. It's not the Hobbit one, but that is good that you thought that. So I've just really started, like I'm just into this day 4's really colours here, which is this like kind of like bronzy orange, but this is what we have so far. So like this blue grey was the one I pulled forward, and there's this like blue green, and there's a yellow green, and then there's this. And I think it's a cool fade so far, and I think it's going to be a whole cool fade. This is one of the nuggets for today. This is what they look like. The fibres are really mixed. So if you look at last year's, this purple day is like, can't really tell, but this purple day is super fuzzy, this one, because it's got some kind of like mohair or something fuzzy in there. This one is really silky. Now it doesn't make any difference for me, but someone, Naomi of NG Knits, has the same advent, and she's making socks, and of course this silky one doesn't work in her socks, which is a bit of a pain, but it works it works fine with my blanket. Yeah, it's not showing this side shows up a little better, I think. It's kind of like a bronzy gold. Yeah, so like I say, I'm not keeping up with it super well because it's so many stitches, but I'm fine with it. I've not been doing a whole lot of reading, and I feel like this is a perfect reading project because it's just stockinette. So yeah, my plan is if I can get a new good book on the go. I'm reading just like endless cheesy romances right now, and I want to get into something that's a bit more bite to it, but I just can't. I think let's do it, and I just want to like chill, so it's not really happening. I didn't weave in my ends, but I started just knitting over my ends, and that's been perfect. That's perfect. So that's what I'll keep doing, and I'll just sit down and weave in the first ones soon. But the knitting over my ends it's worked really, really well for garter. So I just have some like little tufty bits to trim once I've blocked it. And yeah, it's gonna be huge. I think I measured it's 170 centimeters long, and I think it was 8 centimeters wide. And I think then I have 22 colours. So that'd be, and it's 8 centimeters per stripe, so that is 20, yeah. So it'll be about 100, it's almost gonna be square. I think it's gonna be about 180 by 170. And I think because it's garter, I'll try and block a little bit more width into it, so it's a bit more rectangular. But yeah, I've got so far to go on this, but it's fun, it's really mindless. And I kind of like the idea that in December, I just do things like blankets and like stuff I don't normally knit. Like I knit garments all the time. So in December doing like some socks are coming. They're not on my nails yet, but like some socks and some bits like that. Kind of like it. Cool. Oh, I messed the camera. There we go. That leads me into my other advent project, which is currently in this mushroom bag, although it's not going to be able to stay in here for very long. But I thought this is a very like Hobbit relevant bag. So this is the Hobbit advent. I actually have it right next to my chair. From Skein and the Stitch. This is what it came in, this beautiful box. It's like bulging full. All my advents I paid for, like I know that there are some people especially doing like Vlogmas who have gifted advents, but mine are all paid for. And I decided to get the ones I got, well, the recycled one because I got it last year, this one because there's a read along happening, and I love the idea of like reading along. I'm actually listening to the audiobook with the Andy Serkis one, which is really good. Because he sings the songs, and if I was reading it I'd skip the songs, so that's nice. And this one is chronological, the colours based on the locations in the book. So each colourway is one of the locations that you get to as you read the book, which I think is really, really nice. And I first read The Hobbit only like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years, it must be 3 years ago. I know it was 3 years ago because it was when Sam and we weren't living together yet. We pretty much just started dating, and we would go off for these like hiked outside of London, and he had the car from outside of where he lived, outside of London, and I would get the train out from London, and I used to listen to this on the train. So I know it was like 3 years ago that I read it. So it's nice reading it again. So I am spoiling up to day 6. When this goes live, it's going to be Advent day 8, so I don't think I'm spoiling anyone, but giving you a warning just in case. I'm making the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. This wasn't my plan. I'm so glad I changed my plan. This is really fun to knit. I was worried the Sweet Shop blanket would be too small, but the final measurements are not massively far off my blanket from last year, and when I realised how functional that one was, how much I liked it, I thought actually I'm okay. That's fine by me. I will say it's currently looking a little bit small, but I'm hoping it's going to block a bit because it's garter. So you make all these squares, and that's where I'm currently at. So this is, I've got the block next to me. This one is Welcome to Bag End. I will say, I have the non-superwash base, and I think the non-superwash is missing a little bit of like the nuances of colour that some of the superwash bases have. They're still beautiful, but they don't have like this first day has got a lot of like pinks in it on the superwash base, and mine just does not have that, but it's fine. So it's Welcome to Bag End. That is An Unexpected Party. That is Tom, Bert and William. That is the Company Rests in Rivendell. I love this Rivendell colour. And then so far I think my favourite is this Misty Mountains. And then this one is it is a Great Goblin, yeah, the Great Goblin. I've only done the colour, like the contrast colour. I've not done the main colour today. So the colours are lovely. I opened it up and there was like 3 days of green, and I was like, oh god, I'm getting a lot of green. But I'm glad it's taken a turn out of green and into like, I don't know what other interesting colours, I guess. Each of these squares takes 10 grams of main and 10 grams of main and 10 grams of contrast colour. I'm holding my yarn double. So in the morning, pretty much, I open it up, I get my little scale out, and then I wind them into balls that are 10.5 grams each. Which is basically this. I think if I have any left over, I'm going to make a pair of socks. I think like a really scrappy pair, maybe with a stripe to make the yarn go really far. But I wind them into these 2 little balls by hand, and then I take a strand from each. And then I'm using Drops Flora in the colour White Fog as the contrast, which I think is working really well. I asked the dyer, and she said that her sample used a colour called Bone, and I decided the White Fog was like as close to like a bone white as I could get. So I'm really liking this. I am making a little change to the way the pattern, like the way it tells you to build the squares. So the pattern generally like starts at one side and kind of like grows out. So you start here and then you go here and here and then you go here and then you go here, here. You know what I mean? Like it builds out the way. As you can see, I've done a strip. And what I'm hoping now to do is to join the next one, I guess here, and work back down. Now I think that means I'm going to have to work some of the squares in reverse, working the contrast colour first and then the main colour second. I think it's going to work. I'm going to wait and see, but I'm feeling confident enough about it to try. But that way, because it's a fade, the blanket will go like this, as opposed to just like spreading out, which I think will be a nice way to like use a lot much of the fade. And also, it's called There and Back Again. I mean, that's the Advent has There and Back Again on it as well. And I love the idea. It's a circular fade, and it goes through it twice. So I love the idea that like, you go all the way there and then you go back again. I don't know, that's really cheesy, but I like it a lot. So that is that one. And oh, I folded it up earlier in such a cool way. Oh yeah, I did it there, and then I just undid it, where you could see all of the colours on the ends. And that's just really cool to me. So yeah, maybe a little bit small, but that's fine, like it's okay. I'm using up the blanket and I'm really enjoying the squares, and they're feeling very like maintainable to do one a day. Of course, I'm not going to get through all of these in December because I have to do 2 for every colour, and I have to do them all before I can start the second one. So my goal is to get this one done by the end of January. That gives me some time off. Like, it means it's not dragging on, but it does mean that like that's a whole extra month, and I should be done this by like what, the 25th. There's not even a 25th day, I think it's just 24. Yeah, 24. So that gives me like 2 extra weeks if I miss a day or whatever. I don't know about doing an I-cord at the end. Part of me is now tempted. I don't think my corners are the neatest joins, so I think an I-cord could be a good idea. But that's a problem for future Rebecca to decide. Not current Rebecca. Okay, it is, I can't believe how quickly that light's going. I thought I'd had loads of time today. Okay, I have, whoa, Advent news, one more thing. I do actually have a third Advent. I always told myself I could get the recycled one, because in my head it wasn't that expensive. In retrospect, it is more expensive than I realised it was. If I love my blanket this year, I don't think I'll do it again, because I just think I need to like prove it after last year, and now I feel like it's going to happen. So that's fine. And then the Hobbit one I really liked because I was reading every single day. This next one is pure and utter fangirling and nothing else. Like, all as well as this, I'm a massive fangirl. So I've never ordered before from Hello Stella, who is a Canadian dyer. But then somebody, I wasn't even following them on Instagram, and then somebody shared their Advent, and I couldn't not. And I just didn't even look at the price. I was like, I just need it. I'm just gonna check it right now. And it is the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie inspired Advent calendar. It's a 12-day Advent. Oh, and I love it's got 12 days and a main colour, and I just love that movie. I have seen it hundreds of times, I think. I have. Over 100 at least. I watched it last night. I watch it, like sometimes I finish it and I just put it back at the start again and watch it all over again. I love it. I also love the BBC 6-part version, but here's my hypothesis. Here's my thesis, is that the 6-part BBC adaptation is like word for word the book. It is practically the book just in watchable format. Great. I love that. Also, Colin Firth getting out of the lake. Perfect. The 2005 is all about the vibes. It is about the vibes and the feeling. It's the hand grab and it's so good. The mist in the morning and the sun and so it's all about the vibes. So I feel like the vibes is the one that I want the Advent calendar from. So I open the first 3 days. It's a 12-day Advent, which means I'm opening every second day. So at this point in time, I've opened day 1, day 3, day 5. Today, the day I'm recording, is not an opening day, which was maybe sad, but tomorrow is an opening day. And I personally decided, I'm talking about this a lot on Instagram, so if you're following me there, I'm sorry, you're hearing it twice. I decided to make up my own names. They don't have names, so I'm making up my own names for each colour. And I already have some predictions for future colours if they come. Like, I'm pretty sure there has to be a red, and it's going to be called Shame with the Regiment, or Officers. Sorry if you got headphones on, that was really loud, but that's the 2 colour options. Anyway, first up we have this blue. This is day 1, and it's this beautiful like duck egg blue, and this to me is the colour of Jane's blue coat. It's actually the colour of the entire room when she's ill and staying at Netherfield. But that is a hard one. That's a hard thing to do the whole colour for. So I'm calling this Jane's coat. And, well, no, I think it's Jane's coat. And so the name for this is She's Blooming, which is where, like, they bought the ribbons. And he's like, how do you like my ribbons, Mr. Bingley? And he's, oh, they're beautiful. And he goes, oh, she is. She's blooming. But Jane in her blue coat. So, don't know why I did a silly accent there. But there we go. Okay, the next one is the most perfect shade of blue. This is day 3. And it's not petrol, it's not pale, it's just, it's so good. And this to me is the drawing room in Longbourn. Like, it's in so many of the scenes, the drawing room, but the most iconic scene to me is at the very end when Bingley gets down on one knee and proposes to Jane. And so this is called Comprehensive Ass. Because he's like, firstly, I must say I've been an unmitigated and comprehensive ass. So this colour is called Comprehensive Ass. It's not real, these are my made up names, okay? Although the dyer did message me on Instagram and say, I saw you ordered and I know that you're obsessed with this movie, and I felt the pressure and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But so far she's absolutely killing it. And then this one is the third blue. And it's this like rich violet navy colour. And to me, this is Darcy's coat. And so of course, this has to be at, in the rain when he's telling her how he feels. This is called Most Ardently. So yeah, that's where we've gotten to so far. Sorry, my fringe is really bothering me in the camera, so I just keep playing with it. So I've got a little stack still to go. And it came with some really nice extras. I actually have no idea what my base is. I realised this the other day. Highland wool. So I am opening every single one of these before I knit it up, and my current plan is to make an older sweater with that as the contrast colour. But I'm not rushing with this one. I want to see every colour. I want to make the most perfect project, and I'm not going to do it until I've got all the colours. And I am so excited when I open them all. I'm not a big yellow fan, but I want it to be a yellow just so we can call it What Excellent Buttered Potatoes. Boiled potatoes, sorry. Oh, I'm loving it. It is bringing so much joy to my existence, and I'm getting this every time I post about it on Instagram. Someone is like, I've never seen someone get so excited about yarn in my life. Because I open it and I'm like screaming. So that is my advent chat. 2 that I'm working up as we go, and then 1 that's going to get saved. And yeah, I'm really having a good time with it. It's really enjoyable and very relaxing, and yeah, blanket city. Okay, should we wrap up with some sweaters, some garments, since I usually knit loads of garments and apparently seem to have paused doing that recently, she says, with 2 finished garments in an episode. Okay, let's go with, I've got a couple of designs on my needles. This one is called Kip. I shared it last time, and I have to laugh because I speak Dutch and I have like a Dutch handle. However, I just didn't think about this. I named this after a place in Scotland, but kip is the Dutch word for chicken. So I accidentally just called this chicken, which, like I said, like I did not mean to do. Oh, I'm literally halfway through a row. It's so annoying. I'm not really gonna have to show this. Maybe I will. No, I'm not. So it's a top-down sweater. This is where we're at. I'm a little bit off from joining the round. I'm not as up to date with this as I want to be because I've been loving everything else so much. But I'm taking this, we're going to Friendsmas this weekend, and I'm taking this as my project for the weekend, so with a pair of socks. So that means that it will get knit on because I'll have nothing else to knit on. I can show you the back. It's my herringbone stitch. It's beautiful. It's got such an interesting texture, and yeah, it's got this like quite wide leg neckline. It's gonna end up kind of like that. It's gonna have a detailed neckline, which I'm excited for, and then yeah, this is the back shoulder. So yeah, I really would like to get this into testing before the end of the year, but that is gonna, or like early January, but that's gonna require a lot of knitting on my side. So yeah, I'm gonna take it with me. I'm using Rerum Natura Ulysse in the colour Black Pepper, I think is what it's called. I mean, it's all in French, and that's what I think it is. No, White Pepper, sorry. Yeah, I thought I had it, like I thought I was ready to join the round yesterday. It's tricky because of the diagonals, like the back and forth. It has to join at a point where you can continue in the same direction, and I'd mirrored the directions. So it was fine, just to rip back a little bit on one side and knit more on one side, and that is completely okay, but not what I was planning to do. And I think once it's joined, it's not particularly slow, but I think when it's in the round it's going to be real fast. So I'll be taking this with me this weekend. And yeah, I'm hoping I did have a raglan version, so I've still got quite a big nugget here. I've got this little bit. I'll take one more ball of wool, and then hopefully I'll do all of that in the round, and then I can do the neckline, which I think is going to be like a moment. It's very, very light. The gauge is wild on this. I'm using sport weight yarn and 5mm needles, and I think the gauge is like 22 stitches, which is just weird. That's a strange number of stitches to get with 5mm needles for me. Usually for that and like stockinette I'd be using like a 3.25. I'm a very loose knitter, so yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun to knit, and it is just, the more I work it up, the more I absolutely love it. So yeah, now the light is working in my favour. It's showing you all the shadows in that yarn. Yeah, so I'm just keeping it called Kip, but be aware that it's Kip the place and not Kip the chicken. But maybe I'll just call it my chicken sweater. Doesn't really look like anything chickeny, which is a shame. Like I kind of wish I'd had some funny pun where like it actually worked with chicken, but it doesn't really, annoyingly. Okay, and then last but not least, this one doesn't have a name yet, which is strange for me. Usually I've named them pretty early on. I have a working name in the document, but I'm not sold on it. This is a cable knit sweater. I showed it last time. I think I just had a back panel. I have most of a sweater. So I think when I showed it, and a collar, that's the big difference. So I had this, which has got these really nice bits of shaping on the shoulders. And then the other bit I love is the shaping around the neck. Oh, and so I blocked it just about here. So I think the last 10 centimetres or so is unblocked. And there might actually be a colour change, but I can't tell for sure. So I'm just going to pretend I've not seen it. I can't really see it with my eyes. I can just see it on the screen. And it's quite, for me, I usually do quite like this one, quite a close neckline. It's a bit more an open neckline, which I love. And I'm just obsessed, like absolutely completely obsessed with this. My plan is to have a sweater and a sweater and a cardigan, V-neck and round neck for both. So I've kind of started writing it up, but I do need to just get going on that one. I will not have all the versions done for testing. I think I will probably have for myself a round neck sweater and a V-neck cardigan. I'd also like a round neck cardigan, but I'll come back to that, I don't know, some other time, or maybe I'll get it sample knit because I think it's a lot of knitting otherwise. For all over cables, it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. I don't know quite how I've got so much done, but it doesn't feel like it's a lot of work. I'm going to attempt to get the body done. I put a little stitch marker in. I wanted to get 5 centimetres done today and 5 centimetres tomorrow, which would mean I'm ready for the ribbing on the body. And at that point I can do a lot of the writing up, especially because I've already blocked this. I know my gauge. And then I just need to, if I can start writing it up and have it finished by the time I finish the first sleeve, I can send it to tech editing. Like it'll be ready to go then. Because the second sleeve is just a copy of the first sleeve. So yeah, I absolutely love it. Like it's just the most classic of white sweaters, all over cables, really good fun. With some like real nice little details. And my cardigan is going to be red. And I'm hoping actually, it would be nice to have it like knitting on that over Christmas. So I'm hoping to have this one done in time to get that one going, but we will see. It'd also be really nice to wear this at Christmas actually. Oh, I didn't think of that. That'd be nice too. So yeah, as you can see, I have a lot on my needles, but like not as much as sometimes. Sometimes I have lots and lots. This is like a reasonable amount of lots. And I just want to make sure I'm staying on top of it, especially the designs. And yeah, I'm pretty much like planned out for designs now until I've got 2 of my needles. I've got one more idea before summer. It's kind of like a spring summer thing for like as the weather gets nicer. And I think I'll have 2 summer patterns this year. One of them is going to be the toasted tank top, which I'm super excited about. I've not even picked it up again since last year, and I think I need to go down a size since my last samples, but that is a-okay. And then I think I've got a t-shirt in mind as well. So lots going on in my brain, but in a good way, like a really fun way. And oh, the door. Okay, that was actually really well timed because it was some Christmas presents for Sam, and Sam just went to the gym like 20 minutes ago, so now he doesn't really came. I ordered chocolate bitters, like bitters that you put in cocktails, and they asked me for my ID. I didn't think there was any alcohol in bitters. I guess there must be. Maybe it's like vodka based, but I just thought it was like, I don't know, I thought it was just a flavour. I didn't know it was, I didn't order any alcohol otherwise. Anyway, fun fact. So yeah, I've got lots on, but yeah, I'm planned out now up until summer. There's always space for more stuff. Like there's always space in my head if an idea pops up, and honestly they do pop up. It's kind of just how my brain works. But it's pretty nice because they're kind of like pushing off into next winter now. I already have a design for next winter. How crazy is that? But I think that's maybe just the way that seasonal patterns work, which is good fun, to be honest. It's nice. And what else? I've got 2 magazine designs coming up in the start of next year. I think they may be both March time. So there's a lot of like behind the scenes work going on for there. One is about to be, one of the patterns has already been submitted and already fully tested. One of the patterns is coming up for submission soon. So yeah, that's really fun. I'm excited to talk about, like when I can talk about them, I'm excited for that. And otherwise, yeah, I'm just knitting away and enjoying the cozy, enjoying the like the quiet evenings to get some knitting done. And I've been really enjoying clearing my needles recently. I've only got a couple of longer term whips now. In fact, out of things I actually think I'll finish that's on my needles, I think the only thing that I have as a whip is there's like one sock. Like I've got like a singular sock somewhere, there's my second one, but I also I think it's just my lanark. In my head my lanark's a spring garment, so I've not finished it, but I'll get there at some point. So yeah, loads going on, but I'm feeling really good. It's been a busy but exciting few weeks. I'm feeling good about upcoming festivities. I'm feeling really festive, which is nice. I've been watching a lot of Vlogmas. I think opening Advents makes me feel really festive as well. It was my sister's 21st birthday party at the weekend, and we're at my parents' place, and it doesn't really snow with us because we're so close to the sea, but it did snow with them. They're only maybe like a 40-minute drive away, but we woke up to like inches of snow, which is really nice. And yeah, I'm just really excited about December. Lots of nice things. We've got Friendsmas this weekend. The weekend after we're doing my little family Christmas. My brother's girlfriend is from California, so my brother will not be with us for Christmas this year because he's going to his girlfriend's place, which is going to be weird for all of us, but like lovely for him. But yeah, strange for us because we're used to the whole family being here. So we're doing like a mini family Christmas night before they leave, and then it's pretty much Christmas time, and I'm just, yeah, the rain and the freezing cold weather is not great, but everything else I'm loving. I'm really enjoying it. I am looking forward to January, hopefully being a bit quieter. I say that like I expect it to happen, probably won't happen, but I'm hoping it will. And yeah, so that's all from me. I am going to sign off. My local yarn store, Ginger Twist, is open late on a Tuesday, so until 6, which is really handy. I am going to go and get some sock yarn. I was determined I was not making any Christmas gifts, and I've gone from 0 Christmas gifts to like 5 in like 2 days. So one of them at least will be a pair of socks. I have also ordered some sock yarn. But I'm going to get started. I'm going to go buy some, I really like self-patterning. It's the only way I'll get through a pair of socks is through self-patterning. So I'm going to go get some self-patterning socks, sock yarn from Ginger Twist. I've already picked out the one I want online, so I'm just waiting for it to arrive. I will feel guilty if I don't knit these socks, so I'm going to knit them. And that's all from me. It was so nice to hang out with you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you've enjoyed this like full feature amidst all the Vlogmases. And if you're feeling the joy of December and the festive holidays coming up, I hope it's nice for you. And if it's not, I hope you're just enjoying some of the nice like icy snow weather, or maybe you don't have that, maybe you have sun. God knows. I hope you're enjoying life. There we go. I am gonna go eat a mince pie, finish my coffee, and go to the yarn shop. What a life I live. I'll see you in 2 weeks again. Bye.